You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, dear Pan-Africanists and Pan-Africans from wherever you are joining the stream tonight. Today is a special day again on the topic of Women's Week. I know I have to start by always apologizing, particularly this time, not because of time, but also because I got a lot of feedbacks from our men complaining for why is it that we're having only the queens, and little did they read or understand that we are on a special week where we're having a showcase of voices from powerful women on the continent and in the diaspora that are doing or engaging in building the Africa that we want in one way or the other. And so it is a wonderful, warm pleasure to meet you here again. Yesterday was another kind of an extra show with, Queen Leonette. I mean, it was so emotional, and the impressions that we're receiving since yesterday up to today is that everyone loved it. It was just something different. It was original. It was real. And so today, I decided to touch base with UK because I also have been receiving a lot of complaints from our sisters, from our brothers, from our queens out there in the UK, always saying that it seems like as if Pan-African Daily TV is sidelining them. And so on this special Women's Week, I decided to get both too. And now we have two queens born in different locations, all of them melanated, black, beautiful African women based in the UK, one from Jamaica, one from Zimbabwe. And so our topic for today, as you see, I said Jamaican meets a Zimbabwean. Now, what do these two queens have in common? What is it that unites them and put that value? As you will hear tonight, we are here to talk about advocacy, African women doing it by themselves for Africa. And most women, like I said, and even our kings, have been engaged in building the Africa that we want, but they always sideline it because nobody, a lot of spotlight is not put on them. Not that people don't give them the chance. It's just like each and everyone is just acting differently in his or her own community. But the Pan-African Daily TV, as you all know, is the platform that unites all this engagement. So if you are out there in the UK and you feel like you have a voice, or you're doing some amazing work, or you know someone that is actually building the Africa that we want with his own or her own skills in his own small way, please make sure you connect us to them. Exactly the same too in Europe and other parts of the world. We currently actually working on reaching out, but of course, if we don't get your attention, then you have to call us to attention. So I'm so very happy to have with me here these two beautiful panelists. I know Sister Aminari is still going to join us. She's been having some technical setbacks there with her camera, and that's even the more reason that has kept us a little bit in this delay. And so, but we knew that it's going to be another issue of African time. So I decided Queen Kaganje Ajala is going to open up this conversation while we're waiting for Queen Kalena to join us on this journey. It's going to be a very extraordinary sessions, and because Queen Faith, who is sitting right here with me, has just too much You know, all of them have so much repertoire. Their biography, their CV, the engagement, and everything that they've been doing is so massive, it's so huge. And so, in getting all of them for 2 hours is just a loss of time because each of them, I mean, we could share 8 to 10 or 20 hours. You know, we're not going to exhaust everything that they've been doing. So once more, I want to congratulate you, my queen, and I want to thank all of you that are joining this special edition on Women's Special this week. If you're watching from the UK, so please you give us a thumb up because this time our whole focus. There never has been a show where I got 2 guests or 3 from the same country, the same region, and the same community, and doing almost the same thing and the same gender of Yinfa. So, but this time, yes. This time, yes, we are all celebrating the UK Black community out there and all what they've been doing. These 2 queens are representing you, and many more would come, just like we also had the queens. So I think, yes, we are all good to go. While we just introducing and waiting for Queen Kalena, I would like to go back to the studio to meet our Honorable Queen Ajala. Good evening, Queen Ajala.
Good evening, Sue. How are you?
Oh, as you can see, my queen, after the long, warm conversation that I had with you, and spontaneously you're sitting right here in my studio, I'm so more than like grateful. Can you hear me well?
Yes,
Hello.
yes, very well. I can.
Okay. So, how has your day been, and how is the situation generally? I mean, particularly the lockdown, the vaccines, and the community out there. How they reacting to it, the pandemic?
Um, the pandemic has brought so many changes, and we are all learning and we're experiencing new changes. And in that, we are actually actively working very hard as frontline agencies to champion the issues that comes with COVID-19. So in the UK, Nottingham in particular, we are actively involved in supporting women, those who are experiencing long effects of COVID-19, and we are also supporting the children of those who are maybe dying or who are not very well in terms of health. So we are very active as a community, as a people. You know, it is the time we have learned how to come together, and though we are restricted of what we can do, but we are now going online in terms of communicating. So we are meeting there online, WhatsApp, Facebook, everywhere to connect so that we don't die in isolation. So we are so active, particularly this time of COVID-19.
Okay. Yeah, because particularly UK, there were some disturbing um, factors coming out there. Because of course the Black community is also huge out there comparatively to what we have here in Europe. UK is actually like France and Belgium, one of the community group with with the most population of immigrants. And so, yeah, it's really also been a concern that more news is coming out there when it has to do with our Black community because of the population out there. But then, of course, Queen Ajala, there's also been trending on the news this past days, for the past 2 days, ever since Queen Oprah Winfrey launched the conversation with the royals out there. How is the community reacting to this setup?
Yeah, we see a shift in terms of response to the community because all what we see now is all those changes that COVID has contributed to. And we see the exit of the royal family to America. It is also something that we are learning. So, as a people, there is a lot of things that we are hearing and that we are experiencing in terms of rest and changes. So we are quite listening, we are learning. Like, it is a good experience to be in the UK at this time because, the royal family is part of what we all love and we all want to see things happening. So, yeah, I am enjoying to listen and I am also learning how people respond to certain issues. So as a community development worker and as a community development officer, I tend to learn, and this is how I gather the evidence of what we need to do as a community, and the response of us diasporans. When we see things happening this way, we tend to also respond positively, having evidence of what we want to advocate for in the future.
Okay, I would get back to this subject on the community, on the reactions of this conversation with Queen Oprah Winfrey and the royals, because I've been in the past days busy with the British or the community out there in the UK, and there are a lot of interesting comments going on the situation out there. And do you think that some changes, particularly to this issue of racism and race card, that the royals would have to maybe in some way compensate or adjust to the Black community? Do you anticipate something happening like that soon?
Yeah. From a political perspective, I think there is a need of that shift to happen. It will come, and it is here now. So the trigger is Meghan, the royal family new lady, and it is important for us to mark that if history does not get corrected for certain decades, it is actually a problem. But if history is now repeating itself, there is a need for the affected people to advocate for themselves, and there is a need for the other end to also start a dialogue to correct the mistakes or issues that affect the community. At the same time, we see we are getting into the new millennium. This is the 21st century. Racism has been on the go, and many times it has been wiped under the carpet. Nobody has been able to talk about racism in an open space. So I think there is going to be a very massive change in terms of how racism issues are addressed in the institutes as well as in the community. So it is very important that we mark this as a time for change. And when that change is coming, we get triggers. So this time is the royal family, Meghan bringing the trigger. So that trigger is what we are going to follow, and we advocate for what we are going to want to see happening.
Okay. Thank you very much for your feedback on that. Like I said, we're still looking for professionals and experts to actually hold a conference or some kind of conversations on this particular topic. What is going to change after this interview in terms of the Black community, but also in terms of Africans worldwide. Now, coming back to our topic of today, like you are Zimbabwe born. Tell us a little bit about you.
And I live in the UK. So I'm quite international. And being born in Zimbabwe as a young mother, as a young girl, I have a family of 5 children, and I migrated to the UK 2002 as a political refugee. So that put me at a position whereby I was now called a refugee in a new country that I reside now. So being born in Zimbabwe does not mean that I am very much separated from Zimbabwe, because I still have my family and my people in Zimbabwe. So I'm very much connected to Zimbabwe, and I'm an active member of that particular society.
Okay. So you got to the UK, and what was it that actually like moved you to say, yes, I am a refugee and I do something? Was that why you got engaged with power? Your background It's disturbing.
My background is community development. I'm into community development since I was back home. So when I came to the United Kingdom as a political refugee, there were things that were going wrong, and I did not want to keep my voice in silence. And I identified issues that were affecting women, and I championed the organization that we named the African Women Empowerment Forum in the UK. So it was to increase our voice, or to create a voice, and to build the infrastructure, because many of us then who were asylum seeking, we went into poverty, and we got affected because we had also been separated by our children, and the immigration treatment was not going very well. So it prompted myself and other African women to come together and build that voice, which we now see as a grown organization that is actually doing things in the United Kingdom, talking about the issues of concern, making sure that we brand our children the way we want them to be, and avoiding those children to go into crisis of drugs and poverty and stuff like that. So we really fought hard to build that voice. It has been a while now, since 2006. So we were very much active, African women together, we built that voice. So the African Women Empowerment Forum is now a national organization, or an international organization, based in Nottingham, UK, and we are working to make changes in the systems in terms of race, poverty, and asylum, and the immigration stories. Things were going wrong.
This is impressive. But why African women? Why not African Empowerment Forum? Were the men also not part of this target of marginalization and all this sort of discrimination? Why did you actually focus the organization on women?
To my understanding, the mapping exercise we did then, it was a lot of women in this group of disadvantaged category. We were not able to speak English very much. Most of us, some of them from Congo, they could not speak English then. They could speak French-speaking countries, and many other countries that were like Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and other stuff like that. Most of the women who were in that category, they could not communicate very well. So they were disadvantaged in terms of representation, and the race issue was still an issue, though we did not know exactly what was going wrong. But we realized that, black was not a very good color to sell. So we started to come together. When people has a problem, they usually cluster together to see how they can generate support among themselves. So that's what we did. It was a problem in terms of misrepresentation, race, and immigration issues. So we had problems then because our cases were not being processed. It took me about 10 years to receive my indefinite leave to remain. So for 10 years, I've been in the limbo, struggling with the immigration, and my case was failed then. So it is that prompted me to set up the African Women Empowerment Forum in partnership with other African women.
Okay, I mean, this is impressive, because we have also these organizations in Europe. We have it also in Germany, our way, even in two formats. So we also have African Women Europe, which is our way, and then we also have the African Women Empowerment. So basically the same focus. But I know that this organization that you're doing is not only domestic in the UK, but you're doing a lot of developmental projects and being an ambassador, charity ambassador for youth and development in Zimbabwe, your country. You are also a social entrepreneur, and you're also a brand owner. You are an author. You are everything. So tell us a little bit about your projects. Yes, join Kalena.
When I came to the UK, I realized that there were things that I also wanted to see make changes. And in terms of youth, I left also my children back home. It was all those things that we created a cultural exchange whereby we wanted to see how we can integrate our skills that we acquired over here and what they already have home. When we look at Zimbabwe, it has the highest statistics in educated young people. And it always pains me when they don't get jobs. So I started to talk to young people online on Facebook, and I met young people there, and they were into IT and technology. And we started to talk about what we can do to assist or to build an infrastructure, a center hub for empowerment for young people in Zimbabwe. So we championed the Zimbabwe Youth Development Fund, which is acting as a hub to create a resource for all the young people to learn about entrepreneurship, to learn about how they can make money even from a younger age. So we have so many things going on, and we also train and educate people on agriculture, making people believe that in my culture we say kumunga kunepka. We have been to Europe here. There is nothing very special. We have suffered enough. So there is more that we can do in Africa together if we build it together, given the resources that Africa and Zimbabwe has. Zimbabwe has high minerals, and we have a lot of educated people, and we have, agriculture to do. So there is a lot of things that we can do, and we are doing now with those young people, building projects, the mushroom project, we have established it, and we have also established the fashion and the design industry. So we are building it up with the intention to duplicate all those industry we are setting up in different parts of the country. Eventually, we spread across Africa using the same methodology. So it is my passion working with young people because I see the future. I see the new generation who are promising, who knows things, especially where technology is of concern. At the moment, we need those young people to be online, to be able to access information, to support the families who are even not able to access computers, and maybe to advocate because everything is going to go digital. After COVID or during COVID, we have been relying on digitalization. So it is that we want to make changes and move with time to empower young people and build the industry in terms of technology.
Good. I mean, this is impressive, Queen Adela. I see my beautiful Queen Kalena. No, she's saying that her name is Manarinas. Ma Keperu is here with us, aka Kalena. Kalena is one of our biggest fan on the Pan African Daily TV, always on the chat, always motivating, always engaging. Sister, you were so emotional last night, my queen. What happened to you, Kalena? Hello? Queen Kalena, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, your volume is so low. Can you adjust your microphone like you did before?
Oh dear.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's too, the audience cannot actually hear you that well. Try again, let's see.
Is it any better?
Still too very low.
Still very low. I don't know how
Yes.
to do this. This Queen Charter, I'm not very good at these things. The volume, it's all the way up. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Because I'm on my
Oh,
phone. It's maximum. It's
it's maximum because there was something that you remember when we were doing the first test, you touched it, and because it also was acting like that. And I don't know what is it that you did. Are you using your headphones?
no,
No.
no headphone.
Okay.
There
Oh,
is a thing there for Cameron mic. Let's see if I is that any better?
um, no. Okay. Say something.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
No.
Good evening, family. Volume.
No. 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 Um, go out of the stream, join us again because we need to hear you. I know your vibes, and you've been so anxious to share this moment with us and your story, and we cannot dare to miss you. Okay, so just leave the stream, click on the link again, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
So from our side too, so we continue with Queen Ajala. And exactly, this is the point that you were talking about, the digitalization of us women, particularly in the COVID era. Queen Ajala, this project that you launched out there, what was the purpose that you thought, all right, most of us women will be having these difficulties, or Africans generally, because it's not a pandemic that we were seeing this coming, that we all at a certain moment be only on digital, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is an issue when we look at the way the businesses are going. Everything is going online. There was a time I went to the city. I was looking for a jacket, and all the shops have been closed. And I have to work with my son to see, oh, where can I get a jacket? He said, oh, mom, you have to go online and buy one. Ever since in my life, I'd never bought anything online. So during COVID time is when I started to buy things online. So I realized also we started this project during COVID time. So it is that effective. And the reason why we thought of digitalization first. We thought if young people can go online, they could also access other opportunities and
Mhm.
bring knowledge to the family members, and that can spread that way. Because if they are offline, they are actually isolated, and there's a lot of opportunities that they will also miss. So by bringing the young people online, it simply meant that we created opportunities for them.
Mhm.
When we look of the industry for money, there was no money to be generated. The markets were closed. Everything was closed, especially in Zimbabwe. There was a long time of that limbo. So they could now go and access businesses like the Bitcoin, where they can start learning how to mine gold and stuff like that. So they are actively getting involved in things that help them to survive. So we also have to get the work from the international community, designing websites, creating logos for organizations, evaluating and working with projects that are happening in the UK. They will evaluate them there, and we deliver together in partnership. When we are learning, they are also learning. But we
Absolutely.
have the opportunity to access small grants and support from the UK, but it benefits everybody as we are delivering as well. Because don't forget that what affects diaspora also affects Africa. What affects them in Africa, it also affects us here. We see it when people die here. Some of them, they are repatriated back home. And when people are not well here, we send money home to support them. So it is that important that our young people are channeled to work online and to understand how technology is moving, and it is that fast.
Very correct.
Mm.
I'm touching base with Ma Capero. Is it okay now? Unmute here. Let's see. Hello,
Hello.
Kalena.
Hello,
Oh,
Dr. Carter.
much
Is this any
better.
better?
Much better.
Okay,
I'm
good.
happy. Yes, you're much, much better now.
I
So,
don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but it's okay.
but I'm just happy. I'm happy that you're here now, and we don't want to lose you again. So I'll just go direct to your conversation. The question I asked, like after the conversation yesterday, you wrote back to me and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm just so emotional about the story of this young girl." What was it that actually was the point where you said, "Now I get it"?
Well, it's just we're here, and even though we're connecting and uniting with our brothers and sisters on the continent, and there's so many videos and things on YouTube, etc., where you can see, but actually having someone come on and explain the whole thing to you, it's like it kind of I could see it. I could touch it, I could feel it, everything that she was saying yesterday. Because the other thing that really resonated with me was basically I was when I had my first son, I was a teenager. So when she was talking about the struggles and what she had to do, I was like, oh my goodness me, you know. So Africa, the Caribbean, we have similar experiences, very, very similar experiences, because we were under colonization, and there weren't any opportunities there. And so people had to survive. You had to be creative. You had to do things. So I was just, I got so emotional because I went back to my teenage days, even though I'm in my 60s. So I went back to my teenage days. So, and she's so brave and courageous and confident. So much confidence. It's like, she said, I will never give up. I'll never give up. And I thought, that's it. That's it. We can't give up. So it was the fact that she was willing to do whatever it takes and not leave the continent. Not leave the continent. I'm prepared to stay here and do whatever is necessary. So that
Mhm.
just makes me so proud, you know,
Yeah,
that,
no.
there's lots of people who will take the opportunity to go away because it's
Mhm,
easier. So they think, because it's not really easier. You have different challenges.
mhm,
So, and she was determined to do what is necessary to achieve and to make something of her life.
mhm,
And people might feel, oh, it's too shameful for me to go and pick up tires and to pick up things, but it's creativity.
mhm,
Think, how do you think about how to create something out of nothing? Because that's what she did. She actually saw the tires or saw the disposable plates and stuff that she had on her wall, and she thought, how can I make this into something? How can I take this waste material and make something? That's just fantastic. It's brilliant, you know. So I was so impressed. I wish she was my daughter. I haven't got any daughter.
yeah, but you reach out to me and like I want to reach out to her. Her
Yeah.
story has touched me, and I think I miss a daughter, and I'm gonna adopt her. And I really want to appreciate you for that. I'm watching you, and I'm seeing a painting behind you directly, as if something that you did intentionally. Is it really like you wanted us to get there, or what is it that you have behind you?
It's I went to Egypt 20 years ago
Hmm.
and I bought this painting. It's a papyrus painting that I bought, and I've had it for the last 20 years. And actually, that's when I got my spiritual awakening when I went to Egypt. I felt the ancestors. I did go back to sleep a bit, but that was my first experience when I went on the continent, and and went to Cairo and went in the museum, and it was just mind blowing. It was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. So yes, and so I bought this painting and I've kept it ever since. And it's just having my ancestors with me.
Okay, make sure your camera is, I keep missing your beautiful face, my queen. Make sure your camera is not shifting. No, no, to the other side a little bit. Now, I know you wanted us to focus on the picture. Shift your camera, I think, to your left or to your
Is
right.
that better? Is that better?
That's much better. Beautiful. Okay.
Ah,
It's still shaking. But if you give me a little bit again, just adjust. I'll tell you. Okay.
is that any better?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because
Yes. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, my queen. You know, technology and that stuff. These are not us. This is not us. Normally, we would sit
no, no,
together.
no, no.
Normally, we would sit together on, in the parlor or in the kitchen or at the fireside, and we share this story. So this is set up. You watching me from a distance eye. So don't even bother about it. No matter how I want to adjust it. When we get home and we're sitting in Ghana 2021, all of us on the beach or sitting somewhere, and you see me and I can touch you. That is us. All what we're doing now is just trying to improvise and to match it up with the time. Anyway, but I know your amazing story, wonderful, powerful, and I would like you to share a little bit of your story. Not a little bit, 60 years, but this 60 years has been kept under the carpet up to this time. Like you say, you slept a little bit. Can you just share that with us? The floor is yours.
Ah, my initially, I think it started even when I was a teenager, and we had a prime minister then who was Michael Manley, who did a lot of things for the people, the poor people in the country. And I think when he was in power, I was about 15 years old at the time, and he announced one of the things that he changed in Parliament was basically that people who were born out of wedlock, children who were born out of wedlock, weren't illegitimate, because we inherited the colonial system where if you're not married, you're illegitimate. And he changed that. He then, which was very good for a lot of people. And he put in place training for people to go abroad and to do, like, the young men would go and do plumbing and electrical work and training and train to be nurses and doctors. And of course we weren't allowed to have a relationship with Cuba, because Cuba is just 90 miles away from us. And he had a lot of difficulty with the with Europe and America, because he was
Mhm.
sending people to Cuba to be trained so that they can have education, so that they can become farmers, and, as I said, builders and plumbers and electricians and etc. And as a teenager, I looked at that and I thought, my goodness me, this man gave land to, to, to small farmers that they could produce things, and we were sending things abroad and so on. And it was all stopped. And, when I think about the crime that we have back home and the unemployment, the youngsters have nothing to do, all
Mhm.
because they weren't allowed to send the young men and the young women just 90 miles down the road to be trained, to have a
Hmm.
future, to have a life, you know? And so our country is riddled with crime at the moment, because there is no hope. They have nothing. I went home to Jamaica in 2018, and I cried. I cried. I cried because when I see the condition, The hospitals are appalling. There's no equipment there. They don't even have linen on the beds. They don't even have linen, you know. And it's something that I had my stepfather actually died in one of the hospitals, and when I went and I saw the condition, he was lying in the emergency department on a bed, just on a mattress with no linen on it. And I went up and I spoke to one of the doctors in charge, you know, and I said, I I am a nurse, and there's no way this could have happened where you know where I live at the moment. Why is this so? Why is this so? Eventually, my stepfather died, but you know, my sister and I, we had to go there. We go and we took care of him. We went, you know, we gave him his bath, look after him. I spoke to the nurses, and you know, and I'm like, this is so distressful. It's so painful, you know. So one action has created a ripple where if we were given a chance and and America and Europe, UK stayed out of it, life would have been better. People would have had jobs, they would have had training, you know, that we could have gone and improve the agriculture. Instead, all we have back there is tourism. That's all there is there, tourism. Poverty, so much poverty, Sister Tata. And, you know, and to think that Marcus Garvey was born on that island, and to think that, you know, Bob Marley was born there, and all the fight and everything that people try to do, you know, it's just, they squeeze the life out of you and leave no hope. They leave no hope. And I see the desperation on the young people's faces. I see it. I go into town and I see the young men and the young women. There's nothing to do. Nothing. So painful. So painful.
It is. I don't know why is this. It's I don't know the kind of question I can ask. Every place where we are, there is always Africans living in these conditions. Everywhere on the continent, yes, it's home. We're seeing these challenges in the Jamaica, where our brothers and sisters is in the Caribbean, yes, in the Americas, in Europe. I mean, what is it? What is it that has to be as if it is a channel for us Black people? What do you think is this? I mean, you're coming from that background of a spiritual person. What do you see?
Well, we know that the system is set against us. There is a certain energy that is in this globally, which affects Black people. I think one of the things that really keep us down, apart from the fact that the oppressors control the system, the monetary, the banking system, they control it. So they decide, they make the policies about trades, trading policies, they've trading embargoes. All these things are done by the West. They control the banks. So the people, the countries who were colonized, well, after independence, they went back to them and attached themselves to them because they had no choice. So, you know, they control everything. So they like Jamaica, third world countries are like a kindergarten, it's like a creche. You go to school, you go to college, you go to university. There's no facilities there. And so you come to the UK, you go to America, you go to Belgium, you go to wherever. So it's a deliberate thing so that we don't achieve anything. It is deliberate, you know, and it's just the only way we can is just finding ourselves. When we find ourselves and know who we are, then we will wake up and we will join and create our own and not depend on the West. This is the only way out. We have to create our own, and it's painful. It's like giving birth, you know, and it is going to be painful, but we have to be prepared to do that, or else children are going to be, it will be the same thing, continuous. It will be the same because they have organized this world. They have control for the last 500 years, and they've put systems in place, and we have to create our own systems, or else we're going to perish.
Wow. Yes. I spoke this afternoon with Maponga, King Maponga Joshua, and he's been very, I know you're a big fan of him. And he is saying it is impossible, even what the African Union has to offer with the Africa We Want agenda for 2063. So it's impossible to build a system and say it's going to get its independence in 60 years, something that was done for 500 years and plus. Do you think he is right? And he is saying we need to start thinking about a 400 years plan now, not just 2063.
Yeah, well, this is what they do. They make 300 years plan. The West make 300 years plan.
Mhm,
They sit down and said, what do we want to see our children and our grandchildren or great grandchildren? How do we want to leave this physical place,
mhm,
and how we're going to do it? And of course, they put things in place in order to do it. So we have to counteract that. If they make three, we make 600 years plan, and we work at it, and it's a relay. So we do what we have to do. We then set things in motion that our children do, and then their children can do. So it's a
mhm,
relay, and also it's like we become the custodians. What we create, we are just custodians, which is then passed down to the next generation.
mhm.
So what we are doing, we're not really doing for ourselves, we're doing it for the next generation. And this is the mindset we have to have that.
And it's very appalling to hear that, because like we're just living like we're living instantly when they talk about a vision. And we I don't know whether with us Africans, when we talk about a vision, maybe because some of us are too religious inclined, when we hear vision, you start thinking of dreams that you dream. But I mean, we're talking about this vision, this agenda for Africa. And do you think that we are scared to when we say that we need a 400 years plan? And some critics or mindsets are saying, oh, Africans just want to live now. So when I hear that it's something that would not benefit me, so why do I need to engage? Like we don't have that collective thinking to say we want to work for the next generation. If you look at our demographics now, we are working for the past. Like I have to take care of my parents, then I expect my children to take care of me, and then their children take care of him. But shouldn't it be the opposite, like we see in the other systems? I take care of my children's future, they take care of their children's future. So it's a forward thinking, not a reversal something.
But I think we can do both, Sister Tata. I think we can do both because we are 100% humans. We were created humans. And so we have this allegiance to our parents. So I think we can take care of our parents because my brother and we bought a house for our mom, you know. So we had that, but we also, my brother and we also have that mindset where we think about the future, the next
Yeah.
generation. And I'm not particularly interested in my son looking after me. I'm making sure that I can look after myself when I'm older, you know, because my my mission is to make sure that my grandchildren and their children, they have their mindset is different from what my mindset was, because my parents, they didn't know anything about their history. All they can remember was, oh, their parents were enslaved. They you know, it was beaten out of them, so they couldn't, they didn't do any research. They only knew about Christianity, and they will meet Jesus someday. So it's basically, as you said, they expected their children to look after them, but they weren't thinking about what's going to happen in 200 years time. They were just going to live their life, look after their children, and then they're gone. But I am glad that the creator and my ancestors called me for a different reason, and so I changed my mind. I'm thinking my children don't have to look after me, but I'm going to put things in place that my grandchildren will know who they are, and my great grandchildren will know who they are as Africans, because I plant the seeds. I send the videos. I've got, 13-year-old and 15-year-old granddaughters, and I send the videos to them. I teach every time I talk. I talk about our ancestors, our history. You know, but not everybody will do that, because not all of us are awake, as you know, Sister Tata. Because I was asleep once, and like babies, I remember we were talking, and you saying, like, when a baby's asleep, you have to gently wake them up. If you're too harsh with the baby's gonna cry. The baby won't want to wake up, want to be disturbed. So there will be people that you can talk to and say, you know what, why not think about your grandchildren and your grandchildren's children, and how you're going to make things different and better for them. And you're going to teach them about how to be self-sufficient. You're going to teach them about finance, because a lot of us don't know anything about that, because our parents didn't teach us. And those are the things that we need to teach them about, because if all you do is you get your money and you spend it all at once, you don't save anything, you don't invest anything, you'll never have it. But if you're not taught, you won't know how to do it, and this is what you can pass on. But most importantly is a history of who we are. Because if we don't know who we are, we'll be searching. We'll be searching, and we'll be imitating other people. We won't know who we are, so we become other people.
Yes. I think we are on track. I can see also the comment that people are saying, sorry, El Hadi Ibrahim, all the way from Israel, is saying, globally, we are moving in the right direction, and that the spirits of our ancestors and you, even the mothers now leading and waking up, would push and guard our children. Now, I want Queen Angela to answer to this question, like, we all know about the ADDI, and us in the UK community, I don't know if we are looking forward to get that kind of vibration out there, because now is the time where, though we are speaking, we're organizing ourselves. You all know about the ADDI. Queen Excellency Dr. Arikana Shikomoriko is your sister, you told me, from Zimbabwe, and Queen Kalena also knows that. So
I'm a member.
You're a member. Thank you. You're a member. You're a member. Now, how do you see the possibility of us actually establishing the ADDI in the UK to put that structure out there where all our organizations and our initiatives and our voices who actually, I'm looking like the structure where RF is there, and I know there are a lot of initiatives, but we need your powers, your voices out there. The Americans and they are saying, oh, we have our Dr. Arikana, and you know she's busy gathering and putting us into that. What about UK?
Well, that I don't know if there's a branch here. I did send a message asking if there is a chapter which I could join here. If not, then I would be willing to sort of do something.
Yes. Queen Ajala.
Can you unmute me? Okay. Yes. UK in terms of diaspora, when I came to the UK, there was no much activities happening. But as for 2020, we see a lot of organization have rise up, and we see a lot of diaspora organization actively getting involved in the community. So we are becoming a strong force, and we just need an umbrella organization to affiliate so that we get to gather our resources together and move the agenda of which Dr. Arikana is addressing at a bigger picture. But I see also a lot of work on the grassroots. When I talk of grassroots, I talk of the small issues that are arising on the ground. Because in the UK, we have a lot of poverty and a lot of silenced voices in terms of immigration. A lot of them, they've been here. We see the Windrush have just rise up, and we see also asylum seekers who have migrated to the UK. They have been there for 20 years. Still, they have not been granted leave to remain. So that should also raise concerns in terms of development as to what exactly do we call development and sustainability. Where are we going if we still have those voices who are still living under the slavery style? So we need to understand that as we came together, as we are coming together as well, we are actually looking at a regeneration program that will take us to build one voice and build our resources together and be able to channel to those bigger projects. But at the same time, we need to address the problems as we see them, which are from the grassroots. So on the grassroots, it's where we have children and young people, and those people need to be addressed.
And as a matter of fact, perfect. Of course, that's why the ADDI is that umbrella. But then, if you are, I can already imagine you and Sister Kalena. I also know a couple of voices out there. If we would form a chapter out there in the EU, we're also struggling to do the other ones in Europe and stuff like that. That would already be a start point. But of course, the activities, the ADDI is just that structure. It's just that structure. But our way and his programs. And so, if we have a center of excellence, or everywhere in Europe where we are. So if you have a program from our way, which is concerning poverty elevation among Black community, then that is going to be that center where we gather all the other initiatives under that umbrella. Do you see that as a way forward for us to be
forward? Definitely, the way forward, a coordinated way, a way whereby we have a one wallet that is holding our currency, and that currency we are shareholders to it, we are stakeholders around it, and we pay membership. Membership can take us a long way, because when we established the African Women Empowerment Forum in the UK, we started by paying membership, like £100 a year. So that has taken us from one stage to the other, whereby we could now attract funding, simply because we took that responsibility of building the wallet with our money, or the organization with our own money.
perfect.
And that's what we call clean money. So that money is very crucial, whether it drops in pennies, but going in one umbrella body, it is
Correct.
good, because it helps us to think like a big a project that we can champion together, and we become shareholders to the generations and generations.
Absolute. Okay, I've just put down this fact because actually one of the very essential, us the women that have been on the show for this week is actually contributing to start a branch. Even the young girls, we're going to be getting starting from Grace Econ even to in the Cameroons and also us in the diaspora. The UK ADDA branch is very necessary, and I've already noted your points, and we'll be talking about that after the show or in the next coming days. I don't know. Somebody's microphone is actually just like, your background. And I want to advise the people that are calling that I'll be opening the lines soon, but don't use the direct line. Please call using the WhatsApp. I see a call coming in from the US. I have to do a round again with my queens, and then we open up the lines. We're just 9:12 into the show, so we open the lines by 9:30. Okay, by 30 in 15 minutes. And I want to use this opportunity to welcome Kofi Zuma, who is joining us. And I don't know where he's been the whole time. We've missed you today. And I want to thank Kobako Souls, who's been very active, engaging you, the audience, to click and like. What are you guys doing? Click the like button. All of you, I see more than how many people watching. I want to see those number of clicks. Thank you so much, family. Hotel. That's the reason we're here. You know why? I'm insisting because I feel like the queens are here and we're some kind of lukewarm. But when we used to bring, the kings here, you could see all that. What is going on out there? Now you could see actually what, even though we say our history doesn't say we're gender, but I see it. We are in the Women's Week. And believe me, even the figures that are watching and commenting, it's absolutely low. So this is something we need to work on together, both us. Queen Kalena, do you see this?
Do I see the numbers being very low?
The numbers are low ever since we started this week of the Women's Week, and
yes, I noticed. Yes, not as high as when the men are on. No.
So it means we have to double. We have to double our energy. We have to double our force. We have to double our engagement. Look at what AWEF is doing. Incredible things out there. And I just stumbled on Sister Faith. Never seen this kind of initiative. So tell us, what is the way forward in the UK? Each person. What is it that we need to start doing now for the community?
Can you unmute? Okay. From a strategic point of view, I think this is the time diasporans should wake up. And I'm sure we are a delayed people. We are always running late. And this is something that concerns me where development is concerned, because things happen like the way COVID is coming. COVID is very fast. So we need to double that and run as faster as we can, because we are trotting behind time. So we need to raise awareness on things that we want to see happening and do it. There is no more time to waste and looking at how we are going to do this. Come on, we have been in the sector for years. I've been participating in the voluntary sector for almost 20 years now. And I've seen a lot of things. We are a delayed people. We are always running late. So I think coming together, it's not something that we should make decision on. It's something that we should just do it. And this thing of operating in small pockets, we are neutralizing our power. We have the power, but our power is in small pockets. So let's build that together and build an umbrella organization that really talks sense. If we do not want something in our constitution, we have to embed those things, and then we talk in one voice, and that will make us stronger. So where we need to go now is to just build that organization that Dr. Arikana is leading, and to make sure that we create circles in different countries, and we build that voice, and we manage to communicate. Now it's We operate on Zoom and we do things online. We can even incorporate membership and share it effectively to our communities, especially in diaspora.
Mhm. Okay, Queen Kalena.
Well, I mean, as Sister Faith said, now that we're in lockdown, I think it's basically we have contacts in our phone. We can start contacting people. We can arrange with the Zoom meeting because that's, well, I'm getting used to that now, going on Zoom to, to do things, you know, and organize meetings because you're not going to go to somebody's house or go into a building. In your own home. You can have your meeting, and all the little groups, as Sister Faith was saying, come together under the umbrella of ADDI, our ADDI, you know, and start our thing here. But I think if we go through our contact on our telephone and start ringing people up and say, this is what we are about to do. How would you like to join? And tell them about it. And as she said, this is a matter of urgency. There's no time to delay. And because if we don't see the signs and what is happening, as I said before, we're gonna perish. We're just gonna fall by the way. We have to
Mhm.
get up and do things, not just talk about it, but do it. Let's start from yesterday to do it
Yeah.
because it is important.
Yes, I think we must. We're starting to clean our houses, and particularly mothers and women. That's why it's very important. This Women's Week will continue. It's not just this week. It is something that we will have to carry on, and even starting the project next week, we have to make so. But I've noted it down, and I'm going to make sure that we have a summit on creating the ADDI UK. I would give it already to Queen. Who is that? One of the chapters. We also had her here. She's the one in charge of chapter formation. So we could start it already next week, even just the three of you or four there, and then we would spread it out. So I noted that it's very important. IADDI constitute everything. Like we bring all our organizations, our petty, like you said, pocket organizations on that this one structure. It doesn't take anything away from your own structure. No, it's just like we have to have an overview. Who has been doing what where? And so when we have the center of excellence, now if this week is talking about the escalation of the protest of the situation in Senegal, then we have to educate our community about what is going. Because what we see there in the UK, like now, I brought the issue of the royals, and it's making a buzz on social media. But we're talking about the escalation of the situation in Senegal. And these are the Black communities that are so engaged in the local domestic politics that actually does not even bring us anything that much, but then to keep making monies for these medias with their views, how many Africans we commenting and sharing it. It's a distraction. We can listen to that news and we say, okay, Megan, yeah, you opened that door and it impacts us. But let's focus on what we need to elevate our continent. What do you think about that, Sister Kalena?
Yes, we should spend less time in other people's affair, and concentrate on our own affair because they are 500 years ahead of us. We are playing catch up. So we don't need that distraction. We need to stay focused and stay focused and deal with what is at hand. The matter of hand is that we need to get moving and forget about what's happening out there. We're playing catch up, 500 years catch up. So we are behind. So we don't need to do that. We need to focus on our house. We need to look after our family first, and then if we have time, we think about other people's family. But our family, the continent, and the diaspora first. That's
Absolutely.
my.
You said something. Yes, you said something about Cuba. Why even just you in the Jamaica, 90 miles away, were not given that access to learn from the
Yeah.
Cubans. And today we are having a serious issue with the vaccines. And we've been seeing the doctors from the Cuba going all over. They've been in Italy. They've been like the flying doctors, you know, like the lifesavers everywhere. But
Yeah,
Africa is
they're the
still
best.
here, not having a solution.
Hmm? You see, it's just, as I said, the colonies, because I call Jamaica as a colony, because it's a colonies. The colonies weren't supposed to do anything other than produce and look after the queen bee. Basically, you ever see a beehive where you have the workers and then the workers look after the queen bee and the queen bee lay the eggs? This is what the colony is about, and this is what Africa. This is the intention. This is what they had for Africa. You be the worker bee, and we're the queen bee. So you take care of them. So no developmental system or plan was put in place for us. So we have to do for self. We have to do for self. And yes, we have to start from scratch. Then we have to start from scratch, you know. But as long as we join together, we're global. How many we're 1 point something billion? How much is it, Dr. Tata? Remind me. The globally,
Mhm.
we're in every corner of the world. So we just need to come together, and which we are doing. We are doing that. We are doing that. So I mustn't say we must come together. We are coming together. We are coming together.
Yes. Queen Angela, you said something earlier on, and I find that very said we need to start, thinking of building wealth for our community. Like if we would put our structures together, instead of us dividing, we could get a common wallet and our currency in which we ourselves shop and create and manufacture or whatever that we're going to have in that. You've been doing that with the young people in Zimbabwe. Can you tell us a little bit?
As a fundraiser, myself in skills, as a community development worker, I've done this job for more than 20 years now. And I
Mhm.
understand how strategies can work in a given society. Coming from Zimbabwe, people saw an asylum seeker, but I did not see the asylum side of me. I saw a powerful black woman coming to the United Kingdom as a shareholder to the British society because we were once colonized by the British people. So I came as a stakeholder, but they saw an asylum seeker coming in. So I
Mhm.
challenged that by coming up with a business strategy that would support my people and bring my people together and alleviate poverty that was putting African people to disadvantage. So we overcome that by coming up with that plan. It was an empowerment model that was to function and to work for African women. So I have no doubt that coming together is the strength, and working together is giving us a better capacity to look at a bigger picture rather than to focus on a small scale. So I'll be happy to contribute and be able to be part of that team that can drive the project forward and trying to advocate for change. And the change that we are advocating for is to try to assist our brothers and sisters to change their mindset and look up rather than looking down.
True. True. What you see, we pick up everything. Sinova, my queen, is saying, Riley is saying, not queen, okay, is saying, I always watch the speaker's name and I research them and I see they are amazing. You know what? You said something very important. You left Zimbabwe and you came to the UK as a stakeholder. Yes, of course, you work, you contribute, you are a partner of that. And but the UK branded you or they brand you as immigrant, and immigrant even giving you a status of asylum seekers. Do you think this is really a beginning of a conversation to say, yes, we're coming here, we produce, we sell, we consume, we pay our taxes, we keep the wages here. So we are stakeholders and not refugees, irrespective.
Even to be a refugee, to me, it's a strength because they have funds to support refugees. So to be an asylum seeker, then my voice was silenced. But as an asylum seeker, I managed to establish the African Women Empowerment Forum. It was then when I was seeking asylum. So for that 10 years in the limbo, I was doing things on the ground. I was accessing funding. I was able to apply for funding and get it and deliver and support those women I initially wanted to support. So what limits us is our mindset. I had never ever looked down on myself and say, oh, I have limited education. I had very little English when I came to the United Kingdom. But when I heard that they were offering skills like English, ESOS, and stuff like that, I was out there going because they could allow refugees to go and learn. So when I learned things, it took me only 3 years. After 3 years, I could establish an organization, build my own constitution, and participate in the sector like everybody else. So regeneration is what we need. When we talk about now, we need to regenerate, to introduce the regeneration program to our young people across the board. It is within the UK, within everywhere in Africa. In Africa, we need that swap education and knowledge so that we can now share information and build our Africa together with the diasporans. The diasporans also want to go back home. If you look at it, we have started to go back home. And it's that we need to go back with knowledge and resources. So it's a matter of being a resourceful people for us to build that money to take home. The money is here, the money is in Africa. So what do? We integrate all of this together.
I mean, I like this because sometimes when we talk about mindset, we always focus the mindset on us being okay about our melanated or our blackness and our history and our culture and our identity. When we talk about mindset, we marry it too much. But you're bringing it from another point of view to say, yes, even as a refugee, I was already doing business for that government already. So even talking about writing your project, building your constitution, there's nothing different. Like you create a strategy, you bring a business plan, you bring investors in, they fund the project. What is the difference in social advocacy and corporate businesses? What is the difference in the format?
In social businesses, and can you come again? What is the difference in?
No, I just was supporting the fact that you said, being and looking yourself as you were doing something. So you did not reduce your identity and your status quo to just a refugee. Because in just 3 years, under that status, you built an organization. So it's like somebody creating a company, as a matter of fact, and looking for investors and has a business plan and execute and implement the policies. So that's why I was saying it is still even marginalization that you're doing it, but they call it a refugee and looking for projects. What is the difference between that and corporate business?
The difference between a corporate business and what I do in the social business is because as an organization, in charity, we work under the third sector. It's not private sector or business sector. It is third sector. So in third sector, we volunteer. We go there in the name of volunteering. But I managed to turn my own volunteering to make it a volunteering with a sandwich, whereby I could earn as a volunteer because I had built in money. I had the skills then to apply for funding, be able to establish fashion classes, whereby people would come to learn for free but I would make those clothes and sell them to the community.
Okay.
Yes, so I was not allowed to make business as per business, but I was allowed to build under the voluntary sector as a volunteer. So within them, I trained skills and shared my skills, but I was also making money on the other end.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I see you power ladies leading the ADDI in UK, and this is already a step for tonight. I'm opening up the lines for those of you that were itching to make a contribution or call. Maybe you have questions for the queens that are here tonight, and I want to appreciate all of you that are watching from all the different platforms, being on our social media, Facebooks, or you're watching from YouTube where I'm at. So the lines are open. You can call. Yes, I already get the first caller coming in. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, good evening, ma'am. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm calling from the UK.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling from the UK. My first time here. I've just been good evening, and I've been listening to these two sisters here. And so, but I'd like to know how can I get involved in their project? Because one thing I find is that the African people who come over here, you know, they don't communicate, or for some we don't communicate
Sister,
either. And it's so sad.
Sister, can you turn off? Excuse me. Excuse me. If you turn off the volume, because the show that we are on is on one of your devices, I don't know. So that's why it is interacting.
Sorry, let me turn that.
It's okay.
Right.
Go ahead. Now it's okay.
Right. Is that better now?
Perfect.
Okay. Like I was saying, the communication between our sisters and our brothers who come over from Africa, and we don't get no communicate, and it's sad because I kind of understand the language. You know, there's a language barrier.
Yes.
Yeah, between our sisters coming from Africa over to England and the one in England, you know. So at this present moment, I have a student and I'm teaching her to read. You know, she's from Gambia. Yeah, and I teach her to read, so she's familiar with our language. And I think the language barrier, I think the African brothers and sisters who come over here, you know what I mean? We can learn a lot from them, and vice versa.
Correct.
Understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my point. And also another situation what we got here is with this COVID-19, where they're stopping us from going to Africa, to our motherland now. Vaccine, which I refuse. If I have to walk to Africa, it's going to be a long walk. I will walk. But I would like to know, how could I get in touch with my two sisters who are in the UK?
Okay, but beautiful. So I would put you in contact with them. I have your number displayed here. After the show, I will connect all of you. Like I said, I'm going to create the ADDI Group UK, and I will put you in. You can begin to bring other members on board. Is that fair?
That is very fair, and I have many members that I want to bring on board because the time is now.
Yes, the time is now, my queen. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you for calling. Yes, thank you. Yeah, okay. You've had the request or the situation out there. What do you have to say to it? Is this also this discrimination between us, the continental African and the diaspora in the UK? Is that visible?
Um, I must confess that, as a migrant who migrated to the UK, my first point of contact, I met my Caribbean sisters, and they had to hide me because I was liable to be deported. So I
Yeah.
did not see the difference between the Caribbeans and the Africans. And because I met those who had a history, those who had known things, those who could buy my skin color and, and protect me. So I have no problem with integrating with the sisters from the islands, and I'm quite okay. And the sisters who explained the things, how I could navigate the way out of my situation was the Caribbean, who were the forerunners of the UK. So I'm quite comfortable to address things either within the Jamaican or Caribbean community and the African. That is not a problem. And they have been a God savior to me when I could not go home to Africa to be with my children. They could go on my behalf and spend holiday with my children. So I have found peace in them.
Absolute. This is beautiful. Anyway, I see Anu, who is also an expert there from the Rapid African Plan. They also are based in the UK, and he's saying, yes, we need to collaborate a lot among us there. We need to break those barriers that have been put into our head by the colonial boundaries. Sister Kalena, what do you have to say on that?
Well, whenever I walk the streets, whether it's in London or it's down south where I live, every black face I see, I say hello to, even if they don't want to say hello to me. I have friends who are Ghanaians. I have friends who are Zimbabwean. My Zimbabwean friend is asking me, when are you coming? And I told her I wanted to buy some land out there. So we communicate on WhatsApp. We used to work together, and she's in Zimbabwe at the moment. I've got people from Congo, so I haven't got a problem. And if there is a language barrier, we need to learn the language as well. I need to say, Chamare Wanga, hello, sister of mine, Muibanji. I need to learn it. I need to, I need to make the effort as well. So it's two ways. So, I don't have a problem. And, you know, they probably think I'm a mad woman because when I go into town, I don't care who you are. I just go straight to you, you know, and I just talk to you because I haven't got a problem with you are, you know, how can I be afraid to talk to you? And even if I don't understand you, I'll make sign language. So I haven't got a problem. So,
Okay.
but we will come together. It's just that there have been things that have been put between us and been told that this one is not good, that one isn't good. And as soon as we find out that we're all the same, it's just beautiful. It is so beautiful. So it's just fear, I think. But I don't have a problem. Never had.
Okay.
So
This is coming to take over the conversation in another direction among us Africans from the continent and those that are at diaspora. It is the same thing even in the Americas that there is this boundary between us. And Ano was just saying, no, he thinks it's not really a problem of language for some. He thinks some diasporans, be them Caribbeans or Jamaicans or Americans living out who actually identify themselves as Africans. But I think this has to do something with the consciousness, isn't it?
I think so. I think so. We need to learn about our history. If we know our history, then we'll know that we're all one. And that's where, you know, I think instead of going out and buying a fancy dress, buy one of Dr. Clark's, Henry Clark's book, or buy one of Dr. Ben's book, you know, or go out there and buy When We Ruled, you know, and by Mr. Walker. Go buy Marcus Garvey's book. Just sacrifice one and buy a book and read, and you'll see that we're all the same. When Brother Marcus Garvey came on the scene, his plan was for the global Black people to go back to Africa. He wasn't just concerned about Jamaica, he was concerned about the whole world. That was his plan, you know, the Black man. So, you know, there shouldn't be any boundaries. We shouldn't see any difference. We need to decolonize our brain and our mind and just say, we are one. And we've been taught to dislike each other. But that's a lie. That is a lie. We're all one. We're all one. You know?
Yes. I like that. Yes, we are one, and we are. I mean, particularly the color issue. Is that not enough justification? I mean, even if we don't read the books.
Even if we can't read the book, we just look at each other and say, but you look like me. You know? You know? You don't have to read the book. Just look at me and look at yourself and look at your skin, you know, look down at your face, look at your lips, and you know, and say, but you look like me, man. You know, we are all one.
Sister Ajela or Ajala, or even from the audience, anyone who is a movie fan like myself, and particularly the historical movies that even though they put them into cartoons, when you watch Madagascar and you saw the lion, the continental animals and the Europeans or the diaspora. So what you told me something about the cheetahs, or in Zimbabwe, each person belongs to a clan. This animal. Please tell me. I don't want to make some mistakes. What was it that you said?
Oh yeah, we in Zimbabwe we have totems. So
Totems.
I belong to an animal, and that animal will hold my characteristics. My characteristics represent an animal, and that animal represents me. So I am Chiera, so I belong to the animal that is called an moth yemkono, which is a very beautiful animal. I'll send you the picture for it. So that means that traditionally, if I would be addressed as Chiera, it means that I am a princess to that tribe, to that animal. That animal is my brand. So my brand is the animal. So we are split out into animals. Some of them they are lions, some of them they are coons, some of them they are elephants. So it is in that category. So traditionally, culturally, we are represented by those animals, as in totem.
Yeah.
Wow.
My friend is the elephant. She's from our totem is elephant.
Yes, so she's Nzo. Yeah, so it is that. It is very unique in the sense that I have found it very powerful. And my animal is a pride one. We are people who likes to get things right. And we are said to be a powerful people. So the power belongs to the women even, which is why even during Chimrenga time, it is our tribe, the women were in the lead. So, you know, that also gives me the power to challenge. Even when I came to the UK, I didn't see myself as an asylum seeker. I saw myself as a stakeholder. So I did not define it, but it could come in my characteristics and behavior. By championing organization as an asylum seeker, then you are awarded over 100,000. That was powerful. And I could believe in myself because where I am coming from, I am socialized in a way that I have to believe in myself.
All right. Dr. Suntende from the UK is live on the show with us. Hello, doctor.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, my queen.
Good evening, Dr. Susan Tata. Good evening, Amanaranas.
Yes, Amanaranes. Makepero.
Kanji. It's lovely hearing women speak from the UK. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Doc.
All right, okay. So, yeah, I hear her speak and she's talking about women's group and all the things she's been doing there. That is really nice, and how she established herself and began to interact and get positive impact in her community. That is happening also in Scotland, where I stay.
Oh.
There is an African women's group in Scotland as well, and we're doing a lot of good things as well. But what made it fun is about the fact that they were asking how they can connect with the ADDI UK chapter or UK community. I just want to mention that the ADDI UK is already on. It's already established. We have it as a community. We have the ADDI UK. So I think what should happen, because they've already put out the constitution and we're all in the process of fixing everything right, but we'll be working on it a very long time. So I think the best approach would be to get Sylvia, who is the chapter
creator,
creator, to know where to direct groups like this to, so that their energies will not be diminished, but they will connect with the organization to the regions that they belong. That's the way because the ADDI UK is a, what do you call it? A region, yeah. It's a region. So it will be needing a lot of chapters.
Sure.
So it is good for them to connect via the ADDI formal website through Sylvia, and then that connection will be smoother.
Beautiful.
I think.
Yes.
So just informing you and telling you that something is already happening here, so that there's no conflict of which part of ADDI they want to be involved with or start creating.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I was only saying a WhatsApp group, like for those that are coming on the Pan-African Daily TV, called ADDI Europe, but the chapters formation is Sylvia, like she said, and which we would then direct your contact to her. As a matter of fact, yes, it is right. And we are happy to hear that, or you have heard it by yourself, that it's already on the ground, the constitution is going on.
I saw something before.
Yes. Okay. Good. So, what is it that we need? We're rounding up the conversation, and I want to hear more again on this issue of our unity, us connecting. So it starts by us putting this unique structure for ourselves where all of us can belong, and when we belong, automatically we can begin to talk about the things about how we know that we want people. But the most important thing is structure. We don't have a structure where we can all gather. If we have that structure, then we have a center, then everything will just fall in place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So what is the last word you want to share with us? I start with Sister Kalena.
Well, the last word is basically oh gosh, the youngsters, getting the youngsters to find out who they are in history. If you can find out who you are through history, you'll be so proud of yourself. It will make
Correct.
you just go. It's like you're walking on cloud 9. You feel so good about yourself. You just walk out and you think, yes, I am somebody. But if you don't read about where you are in history, you'll feel that whatever somebody else tells you that you are, that's who you are. No. Once you go and get, as I said, even if you get one book and go into the history and find out where our ancestors, the things that they did and how powerful they were and what a mighty people we were and we can still be. I mean, that will just lift them. That will really, your mind will be changed just like that overnight. Your mind will change because you know your history, you know who you are. You're not fumbling around in darkness. And just like the sister said, she has that characteristic of the animal, and she knew who she was when she came here. I don't know. We don't know where we're from. I don't know where I'm from in on the continent, and I don't want to know. I just know I'm an African because I will not pay for my oppressors to tell me where they took me from. So
Thank you.
I am from Africa. I'm an African. So we just have to be proud of who we are. The youngsters, go and find out, go and read about your history. Don't take what people tell you. Go find out and get it from somebody who is like you, look like you. Let that person teach you who you are in history, where you are in history, where your ancestors are in history, what they did. They were the people that started the first civilization on planet Earth. And they've left all the evidence there in Kemet, Egypt. When you go there, you weep. When I went there, I weep. They had my ancestors on display. Take them out of their resting place, had them on display. I saw this long queue, and after walking around the museum, and I saw this long queue, and I thought, oh, what that about? I joined the queue. When I came up the stairs, it was one of the pharaohs were on display. I started crying, and I just pushed them out of the way, and came out of the queue and went outside and just cried. How can you do that?
Wow.
Such disrespect. But, I got my spiritual baptism from there. I think that's when the ancestors really held on to me. But hey, yeah. So the youngsters, read, find out about your history. And if you get the opportunity or you ask your parent, every child on the continent should visit Kemet, Egypt, and go and look at those wonderful artifacts that are there. You would be amazed. And you said, did my ancestors do this? Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Wow. I've never been there. And I'm just sitting here and you're talking. It's like, COVID, please get out of the way. Honestly, this is amazing. I read it, of course, but to say go there, and so all of us need to go there to get our baptism, and then to get our new names and our new everything, to get our totems.
Yes.
I'm really interesting to know what my animal is, but I know a tribe. I know comes from that tribe in Cameroon, where you also belong to your particular an elephant, and they call it a nyamkwe. So yeah, I would like to be a cheetah.
I can do the assessment and I can give you one after assessment.
This is so interesting. I mean, and I have Naisha. Naisha is my daughter, who is the PA of Pan African Daily, and Naisha has never told me what her totem is. I'll be asking her, but I know that Dr. Arikana already told me hers also, and this is so interesting for us to begin to know who our animal brothers are. and then we begin to look in our eyes and see our characteristics, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's how it goes, apparently. You know, they have to look at your behavior and how you respond to things. If you are slow, then you become another Maswanda and stuff like that. So we have that. We already know. If you look at me, my totem, you know, we are up there. We are always the forerunners and we like things. So by so doing, we tend to grab the first, you know. So it is that I think, you know, when we do the assessment, we can come up with yours, but it will be after an assessment.
Okay. Yeah, but is it not the same thing? Like if we look at the Western system or astrology, and they begin to give you, if you're born in this month, and then they say you are, I don't know, a lion or a fish or whatever.
Their own, it goes by month, but ours, I don't know. Ours goes by, uh, it comes from the roots. Even when you are born with it. So ours is in the genes. It's not something that you can be branded later. When I was born, I'm already born in it. So I'm born to be part of that particular animal. And even I don't tend to eat that animal, even if it has the best beef ever, whatever meat. We don't tend to have them because it's a no-go area. So it is, ours is in the blood rather than us to talk about it on the market or somewhere else. Like the one they would say Aquarius or this or that. Now, ours, we are born with it, we are born in it. So the umbilical cord is cut from a mother already. You already have that as a brand. That's your trademark. You cannot delete it. You cannot rub it. So it's yours.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Sister Kalena, when are you going for your own? I mean, I feel like
When am I gonna get my totem? Well, when I go to Zimbabwe to see my friend Chipo,
Yes.
then she will I'm sure I did I'll ask her, how do I get my totem? Do I join your clan, your group with the elephant, or do I have to get my own? So I'll ask
oh,
her how it's done.
yes, it is so amazing. And then the fact that if you know it, so you can't even eat it. So it's some kind of like how we respected our own 4 foot or 2 foot brothers, that are in the format.
Yeah.
Yes,
So they
because
wouldn't
they are not,
it's family, isn't it? It's like a part of the family.
yeah, you cannot cook it. It is you. So the
Yeah, it's
animal is
family.
part of you. So you cannot uh, have it as a meal. And actually, they say once you eat the meat of that animal, all your teeth will go.
Prevent you from having it.
So I've never had my own because that's why I keep my brilliant teeth. So I have because right now the meat, though other people can have it, but I will not eat it, and all my relatives will not eat it.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So if you eat it, your teeth will fall off. Please.
So you lose your teeth. Those were the sanction when we were growing up, so we never got to go there. We really branded ourselves, and because it represents my trademark, therefore I have to respect the brand.
Mm.
Mm.
This is beautiful. I mean, I think we'll have to do another topic only on this because I see even the Indians, some part they don't eat the cow because they believe in it and they believe that that's their totem. So definitely, we also all have our own. And if you can see even from our reactions, our temperament, and the way we act, we definitely have our totems. And we busy eating it. Maybe mine was a cow, and I eat meat in my feet.
Immediate.
Okay.
Well,
Anyway,
I
thank you.
won't be eating. I won't be eating any because I don't eat meat.
Oh, good.
I
you,
don't eat
you you are safe then.
meat. Oh, dear.
Yes.
Thank you so much, my dear queens. I mean, it has been a wonderful pleasure to share this beautiful moment. Just learning some other petty things and getting to connect ourselves together for the one purpose that we all know we are one and we are united. Not just only as it's a rule of law. So sharing this platform with you, particularly, I feel so comfortable. This week has been like, a relationship kind of thing that's deeper. And like I said, the brothers and things are already complaining, Susan, why women? Yes, we're gonna end up this session also, but tomorrow we have also another Jamaican-born queen, but she is on the continent long ago, Kalena, and she's doing a lot out there. I mean, Dr. Desta um, is in Ethiopia. She is a mother of 10 and grandmother of 13 children. I mean, this woman is powerful. She's a Rastafari, and she's been putting out the Rastafari religion out there, the culture out there, and she's doing amazing things. I mean, we cannot wait to have Dr. Desta here on the show. Last time we had her, she was talking about the African Diaspora Forum, which is led by Her Excellency Dr. Erica Burnett in Ghana, and she was presenting that voice. But tomorrow, she's going to come to tell us about, the challenge that they've been going through. Try to even reconnect Rastafari as a religion of a free people, the movement of a free people, and all what she's been doing. She's also a creative artist, art curator. She is a designer. She's everything. I mean, all women, all Black women are just everything. We can even inbox or put some of us in the box. So tomorrow is going to be another wonderful session with Dr. Desta. And Saturday, like I was saying, normally we should have been having Queen, the wife of Dr. Jeffries, but she is apparently not in position tomorrow, but she'll be joining us in a couple of weeks on the show. So yes, that is enough for today. And I want to thank all of you that have been watching, and we see ourselves tomorrow. Thank you so very much, Queen, for being our guest and sharing these 2 hours of laughter, of joy, of information, of education, of learning, and everything. That's just what unites us and makes us more stronger. I would connect you to Sylvia, like Dr. Sumteda said, that there's already the ADDI there. So I will put you in contact with Sylvia directly so you can take it up from there. But it's a wonderful thing. Keep up the good work, Sister Ajela. And we'll be having you on the show again and one-on-one on your different projects because you're just doing so much on the continent with the young people there. Sister Kalena, I know we missed you in the chat today, but of course, we're still going to connect, particularly on your visit to Egypt and all what you have to teach us and why we should go there, why we should go and get the baptismal official initiation out there. So I thank you, all of you that have been commenting and watching. Tuku Pomoja and Hotep, we'll see us again tomorrow, same time. Good night, all. Bye.
Night, night.
Bye.
Thank you. Night, night.